Hello everyone. So I wanted to make a different video today. I got this comment um, on a video, and I wanted to kind of clarify a few misconceptions that people might have about Islam and Muslims, driven by Western propaganda. So this verse is from the Quran, and this is what people often mistranslate as doing what the comment says to people who are not Muslims. Now, the mistranslation comes from the very first word, fight. And the verse, you can read the verse over and over again. The fight is basically talking about people who are non Muslims in a Muslim society need to pay something called jizya. Jizya is a tax, okay, levied on non Muslims. And in exchange for this tax, they don't have to fight in any war. This is if they live in a Muslim society, by the way. So they live in a Muslim society, they pay this tax. Sometimes it's been mentioned as something like 2% of their income or their wealth. And they don't have to fight in a war. And the Muslims have a similar tax without getting this exemption. And it would be the same as, for example, an American living in the UK. If there was a war in the UK, they would still pay UK taxes, income taxes, but they wouldn't fight in the war. That's all this means. Okay? Now, there's another verse in the Quran that talks about if you end an innocent life, it's as if you ended all of humanity. And if you save an innocent life, or a life, it doesn't even say innocent. If you save a life, it's as if you saved all of humanity. That's how we feel about human beings. There's no end target to end everyone who is not a Muslim. That doesn't exist. Now let's go to the ayah again and say it says in the ayah, it says people who do not follow Allah specifically. It doesn't say God, it says Allah. So Muslims follow the same God of Moses and Jesus. Okay? If you go to the Old Testament in Aramaic, and I'll give you an example, I'll put it on the screen now. You can pause and and look at that. That is the Aramaic word for God, is Allah. Okay? The difference is when the Bible was translated, and even when the Quran is translated, it's the same word. The difference is the Bible translated the word Allah as what Jesus is speaking to. He is speaking to God, therefore the word is translated into God. Muslims believe it's who he is speaking to. This is the name of God. So this cannot be translated. So if you take, for example, Emperor Nero in Italy, okay, in Rome, Emperor Nero, if when you speak in English, you say Nero. You don't say a black emperor. That changes the meaning at that point. You see what I mean? And the final thing is, when you think Muslims are so different from look how they pray or look that they worship Allah, they don't worship God. Okay? They worship the same God as Moses and Jesus. And I would argue they worship him the same way they did. Here is a part of the Bible that says that Jesus worshipped God by putting his face on the ground. He prayed with his face on the ground. Now, who does that today? Muslims are no different than Jews and Christians. We're all one religion. We don't believe there's even Judaism and Christianity. It's all one religion. It's being Muslim means to submit your will to God, the one. There is only one. There is not three. There is not four. There is one. That's all. The only variation between Islam and Christianity is believing that the Prophet Muhammad came with a message from God, which was the same message, by the way. There is no difference. Okay? Hope I've clarified some of the points for you today. And if you have any questions, please, you can message me. You can do whatever you want, and we can have a discussion if you're curious. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time.